Hey, Thomas with Lonnie Lawn Care here. Uh, this is one of our business owner series videos, whatever. I don't know what this is. Uh, Today I am going to talk about coaching your CSRs, um, how, admin side of things. It's ultimately a lot of these videos are improving the admin side because there's so many videos out there on how to improve um, your front end workers, your technicians, how to improve your salespeople. There's so many sales courses, sales videos, but there's not a lot on like improving your admin side without having to spend tens of thousands of dollars on courses and stuff. So what I did is I just read tons of books. I've done tons of research. I do it all in my free time. I listen to stuff while I'm driving to just constantly improve. Right now we're in our point where mid-December to like February is like build business time for us. We can do a lot of architectural work for our business, which is like designing back end. And one of the things I built was this AI call coach, as well as another one I built. Oh yeah, I built some scripts too that I'm building. But another one I built was after call ratings. Now this is based off the Augusta model. Um, they asked for like how did the call go 10 out of 10. It's just a quick way to see like if it's below 9 out of 10 what's going on. So like if they say 8 or lower, we'll know. And we're like, hey, we should look at this call because from the customer's point of view, it's an 8 out of 10. Even though our AI call coaching might say, you know, it's a 9 out of 10 or a 10 out of 10 call, the AI call coach that I made isn't, it doesn't like listen to tonality. It doesn't listen to the call. It looks at the transcript, which I'll show you in a sec how it works, but it just looks at all the words and it's like, okay, based on the pauses and based on this and that, the call's okay. But at least gets the job done. But having that text from the customer also adds like a second layer of confirmation. And it's something you can also ask in the call. Like, is there anything else I can do to make this call a 10 out of 10? That's what Augusta does. They have a few videos on that. Not enough in my opinion. I would love to hear more. But yeah, 10 out of 10 calls. They're great. So I built this in Go High Level. We use Go High Level along with Copilot CRM, soon to be Homeworks, or it might already be Homeworks when this video comes out. But I use this because one, it has the AI. We also needed a way to call people. There's no way to call in that CRM, so you need like Ring Central or Grasshopper. I actually went with Go High Level. You do get charged by minutes. There's a way to set up that you don't get charged by minutes by implementing softwares, but I'm fine. At most, even on a high month, the most we're spending is like $100 or $200 on phone usage, and that's at the very most. We always get a return on that though. Anyway, so the trigger that I made here for the AI call coach is it pulls the transcript, and I made sure that it's greater than 45 seconds. If it's less than a 45-second call, looking at all the data that we had, and we had about 3,000 calls worth of data. Now I used to have House Call Pro. Data pulling wasn't great, even though there was softwares, but majority of calls from what I could tell, and I also had one of our admin look at this, majority of calls under 45 seconds were not leads. It was mostly like billing inquiries, basic calls. Some of them were just like, hey, where do I get this? It was over 45 seconds, maybe 40 seconds that actually mattered. I'm just going to put 40 seconds on. I think about it, but it won't make that much of a difference. I would say no lower than 30 seconds. You should go. So I'm just going to save that there. I did make a note, transcript call generated here. I'm not 100% sure if that step was necessary when I built this, but I would just add that step, add notes, and then just to add that value, so it's transcript generated calls, you'd have to go to custom transcript. At the above it says transcript right there. All right, so then you're going to go to your AI summarize. This is a premium action. I do get charged like a cent every time it goes through. Again, it adds up to like a couple bucks a month max. So I'm totally fine with doing this because it coaches our CSRs. I'm able to make a spreadsheet, and I'll show you later. And at the end of every week or every 10 days, we look at it and see like, oh, wow, we are trending this last week very well, or no, we're not trending well. What can we improve on? So I made the AI summarize it. I put max length 2 to 400 words. I found this to be like the sweet spot. This is great. It summarizes it very well. And then I just put in a prompt based on the 8 pattern for excellence principles. Also using Mike Andis's Augusta 3 core things. A thoughtful upsell, upbeat, positive tone, and the 10 out of 10 question at the end. So it also has, you know, for upsell reference, it has the reference guide. So like if the customer mentions lawn mowing, the CSR should mention like aeration over seeding if it's in the spring and fall, or spring cleanup in the spring, or fall cleanup as like a secondary service. And overall, it's just a big prompt that just says like, did they get this stuff? Yes or no? And it analyzes the whole transcript. All right. And I just did that all with AI. You can figure it out with ChatGPT. Took me about half a day, but now we're going to be able to get more call summaries. Now, before I wasn't pulling it into a Google Sheet, which I regret. It was just sending an email summary, and it would just say like, hey, this was a 7 out of 10 call or 8 out of 10. Something I updated it now is it sends it to a sheet, and it'll send all that information, which should be right here. So like caller ID, I was just calling myself. Right there. But as you can see, it has like positive tone. Didn't offer an upsell on this one, but I got that 10 out of 10 close. So my score was a 7 out of 10. Not bad. I think 7 out of 10 is like the low bar. If you go below 7, then we should look at it. But then we're also in the future, like I said, we're going to pull these reports, make a nice table, and see like, hey, we're consistently hitting 7 out of 10. What's like the biggest thing, you know, we need to do? So here it is. Here's another one that was like a 9 out of 10. Hit all those. Just in the call, didn't build enough value. They just asked for service, and I just upsold them. So, which is fine. This is just a test call to build these reports. And then I have a prompt for this report where I can copy all the reports here based on dates. And based on those dates, I can pull up all the reports and see whether what we need to improve on. And it'll tell you the last like 10 days, this is what you've been missing based on the CSR. I still have to set up, but it'll say like color name, CSR. So it'll say who called, and it'll say who of our team called them, because it keeps track of that in the AR summary. So that's nice. Anyway, I did have a condition that I set up here as well. If the response says manager, in my prompt, I said I have a little prompt section that says like if it's below 7 out of 10, alert manager, and make sure to mention alert manager in your final prompt. So like here it says alert green. If it's yellow or red, it'll say below it alert manager. So if it does, it just sends us an internal notification to our email. It sends it to my email, and it sends it to the office email. And that's something that we can look over as a team, as one of those specific calls we should really look over and see what we did wrong and what we can improve on. Ultimately, this is to improve our CSRs, improve the calling side of things. And it's a way so that I don't have to like always be wondering, are they doing a good job on the phone? This does that. And if you're thinking, man, that seems a little bit like you're stalking them or tracking them, then you probably need to read up a little bit more, because if you think that, then you probably do the same thing in the field. All right, you're probably micromanaging in the field. And it's not until you realize that you have to grow systems and you have to let people do their thing, but you want to set boundaries and you want to set, performance metrics so that, like, if they're performing well, they get a bigger bonus. All right. This is tied to their bonus. I set it up so, like, if they got a lot of like 5 out of 10s, 4 out of 10s in a month, I'd be like, hey, like, this is directly tied to your bonus. You got 10 in the last month, like, calls, and you know you're gonna, like, $100 less in your bonus. No one has ever lost a bonus off this. I think the bonus is just an extra way to motivate them to not fail or to improve themselves. And I give them a whole month. I don't say, like, oh, if you just, like, mess up twice or something. It's like you get 10 tries to mess up. So we're very lenient here, but we want to see you grow. Okay, so growing is what we want. That's why I set this up. If you have any questions, feel free to comment below. Yeah, see you.